Hey, it's Joe Glines from the AUTOHOTKEY, and this is a very short video. It's really just on explaining the problem and the issue and what we have to solve. We don't go into the solution, so sorry about that. But it's one of those things, if you've ever wanted to work with messages, it's something to help you understand how complicated it can be, because you don't just look for to trigger the send a message that the click happened. You have to do some other things as well. This hit test that Ace is going to explain in this video, it's a really good short mini lesson. But again, it's just an awareness kind of concept. So we'll at some point do a follow-up video walking through the entire process. But as you can see, it's quite complicated. Hope you enjoy the video. Cheers.
So, Irfan, when you are capturing messages from a given program, right? But I think that's exactly why. Okay, so there's something that you will see. Let me see. There's the when notify, but there is this which is basically the reason why. You see a lot of notifies, right? So you get a lot of notifies and you get a lot of sending the cursor and so on. Oh, there it is. Okay, so now I think I got what I wanted. Let me stop it. And now this right here, this message right here. Have you ever seen any of those?
I've seen that, but I don't know what they are. I haven't.
Right.
read them yet.
So this is a client hit test or non-client hit test. It depends. I don't know exactly what the NC means, but the hit test is that while you're moving your mouse, the operating system is trying to find out if the mouse is on top of any sort of control in which it has to do something. For example, notice that when I hover over that, the color changes. To do that, when the mouse is getting close to something that is a control, then it does a hit test in which it checks if your mouse is hitting a specific location. Once you are in that location, if it is true, if the hit test is true, then they go ahead and perform some sort of action. In this case, it just makes it a little bit blue, and so on and so forth. So sometimes when we're trying to automate a few things, moving the mouse might not be enough. You might move the mouse, but if you didn't do the hit test and if it is not true, even if you click, they will say, well, the mouse was not there. You know what I mean? So one of the things that I have to take into account when I'm going to go ahead and try and automate that particular part is does it care about the hit test or not? I don't know how that particular GUI reacts if you don't send it the hit test.
Isaias, let me ask you, this sounds very similar to when you're doing web scraping and you're imitating sending a click or something to a browser window, and they have the event listeners, right? Or whatever they're called these days, where often, like you said, you have to trigger each thing to actually for the browser to actually react. Yeah. But that's what, is that what you were describing?
That's exactly what I'm trying to say. That sometimes you might need to not just imitate the action that you want, but a few things that happen just prior to the action, because the other program is keeping track of that too. So,
or if you're simple and want to get, that's when you literally say, I'm going to move the mouse and click there, and we hate that.
Yes,
we try to avoid that.
hate it, but we hate it. But while you move the mouse, then the hit tests are going to be performed automatically because the mouse was moved there. Which, by the way, I think that's the easiest test that I can do. I just move the mouse and then tell it, okay, now that I'm there, let me send the hit test, and now let's see what happens, right? But instead of using the click command, I would try to post the message directly. I just move the mouse and then just post the message and see what happens. And if that works, then it would be great. Hopefully, I don't need to manually move the mouse, but yeah, we can test it and see how that goes.